Welcome back, legends. I'm Leon Todd for G66. On today's Tuesday Tone Tip, I want to show you how you can use the delay for awesome sounding delays, but so much more. We're going to take a look at how to create doubling, chorus, and reverb style effects out of a single delay block. This is particularly useful for AM4 users where you have 4 effect slots, so the delay doing double, triple, or quadruple duty as different effect types can help you save preset switching. It can help you free up other blocks in your preset to use for other effects. And this is an example of it here. I have a phaser set to the FAS vibe. I have the Timothy mid drive happening at the moment. I've got an amp block with the Brit 800-2203, and then I have a delay block in here. So I would probably leave the Timothy on all the time with this for my main crunch sound. The Brit 800 is a pretty bright sounding amp, and I'm going to use that Timothy drive to not only add some gain, but to sweeten up the overall tone. Let's hear just the amp, then I will add the drive, and we can hear the phaser too. For me, playing live, I love setting up the amp for a crunch tone that I can still clean up with my guitar volume control and then add a drive in front of for my over-the-top higher gain sounds. I love the phaser in there as a character effect, whether it's the Phase 90, the FAS vibe, or any of the other types in there. Let's go to the delay block now, and the most obvious use of delay is for delay or echo effects, and there are so many great sounding types in here. I'll let you hear, let's just say 3 of my favorite types straight out of the gate. I'm very partial to stereo delays, so I'll go with the stereo BBD. Any of these stereo delay types let you adjust the left and right channel ratio. So if you set these to some nice geometric ratio, like say 75%, you will get a glorious dual delay happening. Great for lead playing. You want to take that stereo effect way over the top, try the surround delay. Make sure you're listening to this one in stereo. It will sound like it is swimming around your head. It's awesome. And if you're more old school, the mono tape will do all your vintage echoes beautifully. I love this one actually at the stock settings with the ability to blend in a little bit of the second playback head level on here. So we'll hear it pretty much at the stock settings, then I will bring in this head 2 level. You could get lost for hours just trying out the different types in there. I'd love to hear what your favorites are in the comment section below, but we can do a lot more than just those standard echo effects with the delay block. After all, we have the expert edit page on the AM4, which lets us open up things like filtering, modulation, and diffusion. So let's play around with some of the modulation, and I'm going to start out with this stereo BBD delay type again, but I'm going to choose a very short delay time. Let's just go for a basic 10 millisecond delay on here. Then we'll go to the mod section and I'm going to crank up the modulation depth to around 50%. If I take the feedback to 0, a short modulated delay with no feedback is exactly what a chorus effect is. Have a listen to this. If you want something a little more hi-fi sounding, try the stereo digital delay type. If you want something even crustier and warmer, you can play around with the worn tape. You could even try out the ping pong delay, so you've got a bit of panning action happening with your really short delays on there. Or you could really get nerdy and use the dual delay, go into expert edit mode on there and play around with independent chorusing on the left and right channels. But for now, I'd say probably the easiest way is stereo BBD, short delay time, turn the feedback down. If you want a flanger, go for an even shorter delay time and crank the feedback up, and then just play around with the modulation rate and depth the way you would on a standard chorus pedal. All right, next, let's do an enhancer or a stereo doubler effect. To set up this doubler effect, I'm going to start with the 2290 with modulation. This is one of my favorite sounding delays. Structurally, it has a phase reverse between the left and right channels. This gives it its typical wider than wide sound. Just be careful, if you're listening in mono, you won't actually hear any delay on here. So make sure you're listening to this one in stereo. To get the doubling effect, we're going to use a really short delay again, but we're not going to use any modulation. The 2290 has that phase reverse between the left and the right channel, which will help us get that super wide stereo image, but we want it to be static, unlike the chorus. So let's do this. Let's take the mix to 50%. I'm going to turn the level down to -3 dB, and I'm going to go for a 7 millisecond delay on here. The reason I've turned the level down is these delays are so short, we're actually going to get an increase in the overall output volume when we stack them with our dry signal. Right, let's go to the mod section and turn the modulation depth all the way down. The next thing you can do on here is play around with the feedback. I'm going to leave it at 20%, but if you want something a little more subtle, take that to 0. If you want something a little thicker sounding, take it up somewhere to around 40 or 50%. I'll let you hear all of those first, though. We'll bypass the delay. Finally, we're going to create a reverb style effect using diffusion in the delay block. The best delay type to start out with is the diffused delay. I've just got the stock settings and I've turned the mix up to 40%. You will hear the echoes get smeared out and kind of melt out into a reverb style sound on here. Let's hear it. That's subtle at the moment, but let's go into Expert Edit. We're going to leave the delay time where it is. I'm going to crank the feedback up to 50%, and we're going to think of our feedback like a reverb decay control. The higher the feedback, the longer the tail we're going to get on here. Then we can come down to the diffuser section. I'm going to take the diffuser and the diffusion time percentages all the way up so we can really hear this effect. You can, of course, fine tune this after the fact. What I'm going to do is let you hear it there, and then I'm going to add a very short right post delay time, so this will spread everything out into stereo. I'll go for maybe 5 milliseconds on there, but first let's just hear it at these settings. That is absolutely glorious, and you can hear the effect of adding that very short delay offset there, the way it spread the stereo image out and it created this beautiful pad to play over. This will, of course, work equally well with lush, clean sounds, and having these 4 different approaches to the delay block as a standard delay or echo, as a modulation effect, as a doubling effect, and as a faux reverb gives you so much flexibility at the end of the chain. We have looked at the past in how you can use things like the reverb block to do delay and echo. It's worth remembering that the delay can do that and so much more as well. For now, I'd love to hear from all of you about what your favorite delay effects are in the AM4 and how you're currently using it. Do you use it like this as an all-rounder time-based effect, or do you just populate each block with a different glorious sounding stereo echo like I'll be honest, I tend to do as well. If you've got any suggestions for next week's Tuesday Tone Tip or future Tuesday Tone Tips, please put them in the comment section below. Otherwise, grab your guitars, make some loud noises, and I'll see you next time.